Hello. One of the strangest stories related to honey ever is an incident involving the tombs of the ancient Egyptians. The ancient Egyptians believed in the concept of resurrection and immortality, and they would place a large collection of personal belongings, furniture, and jewelry inside their tombs. Alongside these items, they would include something very important: food and drinks. This was because they believed the deceased would need to eat and drink in the afterlife. The intriguing part of this story is that, despite the discovery of a large number of pharaonic tombs, there has never been a single instance of finding food or drinks inside the tombs. The containers were always completely empty. This is simply because food and drinks decompose over time and no longer exist. However, the strange part is that on one occasion, archaeologists and researchers found a tightly sealed jar. When they opened it, they discovered it contained a quantity of honey. The surprise came when they conducted some tests and tasted it, finding it to be intact and edible. The question they asked was, how did the honey not spoil after all these years? We're not talking about 1 or 2 years, but thousands of years. So, how did this happen? And what is in honey that allows it to preserve its contents, quality, and taste for thousands of years? Welcome to the Ask Away channel. In this episode, we'll answer the question, why does honey never spoil, no matter how long it lasts? Before we begin, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. The tiny creature, measuring just a few millimeters in size, known as the bee, has managed to inhabit the Earth for over 100 million years. It has survived and adapted to all the natural disasters and conditions the Earth has faced. A creature with such resilience naturally plays a unique and significant role in the environment, and even for humans. And it's not just about producing honey. Bees can be considered, without exaggeration, one of the most important factors for life itself on Earth. Around 30% of the world's crops and 90% of all plants need pollination to reproduce and thrive. This is where bees come in as the most important natural pollinators. There are about 200 types of bees, including bumblebees, carpenter bees, leafcutter bees, sweat bees, and of course the most famous honeybees. To understand why honey never spoils, let's take a journey with a honeybee and see the stages honey goes through from the start of its production until it reaches the final stage where we can eat it. The first stage in the production of honey is the collection of nectar, a sugary liquid secreted by plants to attract insects for pollination. This task is carried out by worker bees, and it's not as easy as one might think. In a single foraging trip, a worker bee might visit over 100 flowers. The nectar collected by the bee is stored along with a small amount of bee saliva in a special honey sac within the bee's abdomen. Once this sac is filled to a certain level, the worker bee stops collecting nectar and returns to the hive to unload the collected nectar. Once back at the hive, the worker bee passes the nectar to house bees, known as foragers. These foragers take on the next task of transforming the nectar into honey. This is done by chewing the nectar, which gets passed from bee to bee. During this process, the mixture of nectar and enzymes from the bees' mouths produces two things: an acidic substance, which we'll discuss later, and a large amount of water. The water content is crucial because after the nectar is converted to honey, the bees must start the drying process due to the high water content. The bees distribute the honey on the honeycomb to increase the surface area, helping to evaporate as much water as possible. Finally, at the end of the drying stage, the water content drops from 70% to between 17% and 20%. At this point, the bees seal the honeycomb with wax to preserve it for as long as possible. The stages we discussed, along with a few other factors, are the main reasons why honey can be stored for thousands of years without spoiling. Honey is primarily made of sugar, and sugars are hygroscopic substances. This means honey contains very little water, but it can easily absorb moisture if exposed to air or an unsealed container. In its natural state, honey has a very low moisture level due to the drying stage we mentioned earlier. With such low moisture levels, very few bacteria, fungi, or microorganisms can survive in honey because it provides a poor environment for them. This is one of the main reasons honey doesn't spoil. Most food spoilage occurs because the food provides a suitable environment for microorganisms to grow and reproduce. Since honey doesn't meet this condition, it's difficult for any microorganism to survive in it. Another crucial factor is that bees produce an enzyme called glucose oxidase. This enzyme is secreted by worker bees when they pass the nectar to house bees. During this stage, glucose oxidase mixes with the nectar, resulting in the production of gluconic acid and hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide, in particular, plays a significant role in killing and preventing the growth of any unwanted organisms inside the honey. Additionally, it increases the acidity of the honey. In its natural state, honey is highly acidic, with a pH level ranging from about 3 to 4.5.5. This level of acidity is more than sufficient to kill almost anything that tries to grow in it, so if any bacteria or microbes decide to invade the honey, they're in for a tough time. Better pack their bags and leave because they won't survive. As for the benefits of honey, it is considered a source of energy for both adults and children due to its high nutritional value. Firstly, it is a natural way to quickly raise blood sugar levels, making it the perfect choice for many athletes to replenish their energy. Additionally, honey acts as an antibacterial and antimicrobial agent, similar to antibiotics. It interacts with and stimulates body cells to produce antiseptic substances in cases of poisoning and inflammation. Moreover, honey helps in preventing heart diseases, atherosclerosis, and obesity. It plays a significant role in reducing cholesterol and fat levels in the blood when used as a substitute for artificial sweeteners. Honey also aids in cancer prevention due to its vitamins and antioxidants, which are known to play a crucial role in protection. For common colds or flu, honey is a widely used natural remedy. Personally, I find warm lemon with honey to be a great alternative to antibiotics. Honey also plays an important role in enhancing and raising hemoglobin levels in the blood. Additionally, it is one of the most effective treatments for burns and wounds because it contains the enzyme responsible for producing hydrogen peroxide, which we mentioned earlier as crucial in preventing the growth of germs and bacteria in honey. This is why ancient civilizations used honey for wound cleansing. And with that, we've answered today's question: why does honey never spoil no matter how long it lasts? For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Here we answer the questions that come to your mind. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. See you next time.